How would you like to meet somebody who is an actor, a director, and has had a single panel cartoon in the Georgia Strait? Well, stay tuned because it's happening right here, right now. Welcome to Small Talk.
Any and all are welcome here to come and chat with me.
Hey everyone, Nancy Guitar here with another awesome interview guest. His name is Dirk Van Stralen. Welcome to
That's correct.
Dirk. Welcome.
Hi there.
Yeah, hi. You know, the problem with Zoom?
Yeah, it's that delay thing.
Which makes it kind of weird. So now I know you've acted, you've been up for some awards, and you've directed a long-running play. But let's start with the acting first. When did you become an actor?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I think the first thing was in grade 7. It was this weird mishmash of the Snow White and the Seven Dwarves meet Scrooge.
Okay.
Some sort of thing in grade 7, and I was always interested in theater. In fact, growing up in Kamloops, me and my best friend Mike, we used to go to the Sagebrush Theater all the time, just to volunteer and to be present there, washing lights, sweeping floors, just the whole atmosphere of the theater. To me, was such a weird and rarefied and kind of beautiful world to step into. To say nothing of what I saw on stage. So my parents, bless them, gave me tickets to Talkback Tuesdays, I think it was at the time, at the Sagebrush, and so I got to see season after season of the plays that they had on offer there, and then seeing the actors come out afterwards to answer questions from the audience, I was hooked.
Very good, yeah.
So yeah. It was, I think my parents made a mistake, probably, ended up, making me embrace a life of poverty. But
yeah, exactly. But you have really, what were you nominated for? A 4-time Jesse Richardson Theater Award, right? Yeah,
for acting in various shows. In fact, one of your guests, Lucia Frangioni, one of the roles in her play Caribou Magi was one of the ones I was nominated for.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's great that there's a connection. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I also know Brander Raven, who you also.
Oh, well, it's a small world, I guess.
Yeah, it is a tiny world.
Yeah, for sure. Now, so when did you go from acting to directing? And still, I know you're still doing both, right?
Yeah, of sorts. Really, since 2007, my partner Julia Mackey and I have toured a play that she wrote and performs called Jake's Gift, which I directed as well. And I think it was quite organic. It was not ever something directing. It was not ever something that I had on my dance card. But over time, when you see enough shows, I realized that I began to have opinions about them. And as such, I thought, well, I could perhaps step into this role, perhaps. And with Jake's Gift, it's certainly been a magnificent. There's been a magnificent response to it.
It toured for quite a while, right?
Yeah. Well, in fact, we would be touring possibly right now, were it not for pandemic protocols, et cetera. So the last 2 years, we've been just trapped here in Wells. But we've been busy. We also help to run the Sunset Theater in Wells, which is just the most unlikely place, also where Jake's Gift was first developed.
Oh, all right.
So,
I was going to look up. Sorry, I was going to look up and see where Wells is because I've never been there.
It's literally in the middle of nowhere. It's if you know where Prince George is,
yes.
It's 2 hours south of there, south and east. It's just east of Quesnel, about an hour east of there. And it's a small town of 250. In the 1930s, it had a population of about 4,000 because it was the site of a hard rock gold strike.
Okay.
There. And so this now abandoned town, which I'm looking up our street now, a largely abandoned town, still has this massive infrastructure that once supported 4,000 people. So we've got a giant community hall, a theater that's been converted. It was a movie house that was converted into a live playing space starting in 1999, and then it opened its doors first in 2006. And we've been involved with the programming there since 2011, and then kind of permanently, both Julia and myself, along with Karen Jeffrey, who owns the theater, we do the programming and bookings for that, which of course has also dropped off the radar during the pandemic. And so we pivoted to making it a cafe. So it runs during the days, and then we show movies as well. There's still a silver screen there, and we're looking forward to getting back into programming. One of the things that we have been able to do is a program we call the Exploration Series, which is to foster new Canadian plays. Jules' play Jake's Gift was the very first Exploration Series play that was developed there, along with one of the very first readings of Children of God, also premiered at the Sunset in terms of a reading, and has since gone on to win the Governor General's Award. So very proud of that legacy. It's been one of the things that we've been able to do during the pandemic, is to have artists come in. They come in for a week or sometimes 2 weeks to just work on their show, whatever stage it happens to be, whether it's early development or whether they're getting close to production. And we just try to facilitate that in an environment that is, I think, really conducive to making new work. The loudest sound here is birds mostly. And so we feel privileged to live here, privileged to have this playground to play in terms of the theater itself.
It sounds awesome.
Yeah.
What a wonderful experience.
Yeah, we're very lucky.
Yeah, I'm envious. Not that I'm doing that stuff, but still, just the whole idea of being, in that small little community and being able to do the things you want to do, right?
Yeah.
How awesome
one of the things, one of the things I've realized is that these days it doesn't so much matter where you're based.
Yeah.
Everything is within reach, certainly globally, but the ability to develop work in a crucible of isolation and take it out on the road is something that's very enthralling to us.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I also want to talk about what you were doing in 1990 to 2007. A single panel cartoon for the Georgia Strait. Mm-hmm. So tell me about that. That's another unique experience.
Yeah, it was. I've always been a drawer boy, so since I could hold a pencil, that's something that's always interested me as well. I think between theater and artwork, it's not enough by themselves to pay the phone bill, but together you scrape together a living. And so I think I first submitted to the Strait in perhaps 86, 87. And the managing editor there at the time, Charles Campbell, actually took the time. I didn't realize it then, how significant it was, but he took the time to meet with me, and he said, "Well, I like some of your writing, but your style is derivative. It looks like other artists' work." And he was right. And so I continued doing cartoons for various different publications in Vancouver, and then he gave me a call out of the blue and asked me to resubmit. And I did. And then starting in 1990, that was the first time cartoon ran. It ran until 2007.
That's so cool. But you're doing now you're doing daily cartoons again, right?
Although that's dropped off a bit as the things at the theater have been ramping up. But once the first lockdowns in 2020 started, I just decided, with this time that we had, this extra time and not being on the road, to just kind of chart daily reactions to the madness of the pandemic and the madness going on south of us under President Trump, which makes for, a rather easy target, I suppose.
Yeah. And you've also, let's see now, two books into book publishing?
Yeah, I've got a couple of kids' books, collaboration with a dear friend, Daniel Wakeman, and it was actually really inspired when my kids were young, before they were readers. I always thought, well, what would happen if you put sequential artwork in front of them? What story would they tell me? And so based on that idea, Daniel and I came up with a story, and then I illustrated it. So they're two completely wordless kids' books.
Okay.
Featuring this kid, Ben, who goes on these various adventures. I actually I hold them out here.
Good, good.
The first one is Ben's Big Dig. I don't know if the light.
I can see that. That's good. Yes.
It's great, and it's just, again, all just wordless adventures for kids to make up their own story with. In fact, I've heard from some parents that are like, "Yeah, thanks, you've ruined reading for the kid because he'll only tell me the stories now, whether there's words or not." So, and the other one is Ben's Bunny Trouble. Also wordless, about Ben traveling into space and picking up a bunch of alien friends along the way.
Oh, that is so awesome.
Yeah.
I love
So
that.
those are through Orca Book Publishers out of Victoria. They're a kids book publishing company.
And I would just like to say, because I've written a kid's book, that,
Hey, wonderful.
thank you, that books, I don't care if they're kids' books, but I think adults should read kids' books.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion. Stop sticking, not just reading them to your kids. Sit down with your significant other and read them a kid's story.
Yeah. I mean, to ghetto-wise literature, because it is absurd to me. That brings to mind one of the things with the Harry Potter books. When the kids would come over, we'd spend 8 hours reading whatever the latest update to the saga was,
Right.
in silence, instead of playing video games. The kids, when they were like 10, 12, this is what they were choosing to do. And we, the adults, did that with them. Of course, it meant we had to buy 4 copies of the books, but that was great for spreading the wealth around. But a real picture of, I think, so-called kid lit as real literature.
Yeah.
It's absolutely valid.
I agree, totally. I would love it. So now, other than the COVID thing happening, and hopefully things are starting to loosen up, what are your plans coming up?
Well, we've got a round of grant funding coming up for the theater. We're working on 4 different grants for that. So that'll take a fair bit of time. And we're looking at getting back on the road come this fall. And so that will be a bunch of bookings that we had prior to the pandemic outbreak. And so we'll be fulfilling some of those contracts. There'll be dates in Gatineau, Quebec, and Ontario, possibly PEI, but all the different moving pieces are still settling into place. Right. And possibly we'll get out on the road because of the nature of the show. Jake's Gift is about a World War II veteran who returns to Normandy to find the grave of his eldest brother who was killed overseas during the war. And it's the first time he's been back. And as a result, there's the play has developed a fair following amongst Legion folk and in community halls in smaller towns. We're particularly enamored of rural touring when we have the opportunity to bring plays to venues that normally might not see professional theater and legions and those sorts of environments. So there's a possibility that we'll be out on the road at some point late spring, early summer, doing that kind of tour. So
now, do you travel with the same actors, or do you ever pick up actors in different?
Yeah. It's the same actor. She's one and my partner, and she wrote the play and she acts in it. She plays 4 different characters. And,
okay.
And she just switches back and forth between them instantly, just using voice and posture. And the best compliment that she gets about the show is that People often say that to them it feels like an ensemble show, even though it's a one-person play, and which is high praise.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
at the beginning, I think people were quite skeptical about it because they're like, you have a one-woman show about a veteran, and but she is such a consummate actor that, and the play is so powerful, simple, and moving that, it's had a life. I think we're at over 1,000 performances now in 250 different communities, and we've toured it internationally and in Normandy on the very spot where the Canadians landed on Juno Beach and developed relationships over there, as well as the UK. And it's just been our privilege for the last, since 2007, really.
Wonderful. Are you coming to Chilliwack?
We have been to Chilliwack, at the Art Center there.
Yeah.
We've been there twice. But, if it happens again, we'll let you know.
Yeah, because I volunteer there now. So
oh, great.
If I volunteer when you're there, I can get to see the performance for free as a volunteer.
Wonderful.
Like a bonus. Well, that's one of the reasons why I volunteer. Well, not, it's like one of the reasons, right? Because you do
it's nice to have a perk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, okay. So what about you personally now? Are you into more writing after you finish? Because are you working on the second volume 2? Yes, you're working on that.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, I've started laying it out, and then life happens. But I'm still putting out cartoons on occasion. I did one about Putin the other day, and one about the freedom convoy of truckers. But it's a bit more few and far between. So I'm working on that, putting that together. I'm also mentoring a couple of students from the Prince George School District who are interested in theatrical design, which I've also done some of, not a huge amount. But so I'm mentoring them on the process of how do you take this play and create a set for it, and what are the ideas embodied in the set and that sort of thing. So I've been working on that with them. That's through Theatre Northwest and this School District 57 in Prince George, and working on that. Also designing a set for the main theater show in Barkerville, which is just 8 kilometers down the road. It's kind of a living museum, and they have a theater there as well. And so I'll be working on the set for their upcoming season for that, starting imminently in the next couple of weeks.
Awesome. Oh, that's really, really good. So well, if you do get to come back to Chilliwack, I'm going to bring my camera and my
Excellent.
Because when you're finished, hopefully we can do a little, interview afterwards with your partner, your wife, whatever you call her. And that would be so cool.
That'd be great. And she's a way better interviewer than I am, for sure.
Well, you did pretty good as far as I No, it's fun.
Thank you.
I love people. You're another one of these multi-talented people, got your hands in different things. And I just always love that, because there's always so much volume, so much to talk about. Right? Anyway.
I feel lucky in that so many peers and other people that you meet spend so much time wondering what it is they're supposed to do. I feel lucky in that I've always been passionate about visual arts and theater, and have had the great fortune of being able to explore and indulge in those passions. No one gets rich from it in Canada necessarily, but it's been enough.
It feels something, doesn't it?
Yeah, I feel privileged. I think the only work of the artist, and it doesn't matter what your discipline is just to be obedient to the impulse to create. And that is it. Whatever an artist makes is kind of springs ex nihilo into existence. And that's your only job. Yeah. Artists who are fortunate enough to have created something that people want to buy are the lucky ones.
Yeah.
But the job exists outside entirely of the realm of the economy.
Yes.
There's a great book-long essay by Lewis Hyde called The Gift. And in it, he argues that the creation of art alone can only be a gift. It sometimes, again, has an economy that supports the artist who makes it, but the power is all in the observer and their willingness to be moved by it. Your job as an artist is just to make it.
Just to make it.
And if you're lucky enough, you get to find out why.
Right. Wow. Okay. Well, on that note, we're going to end it.
Excellent.
Just stay there for a second. Thank you, everybody.
May I ask one question?
Yes, please do.
Do you play guitar?
No, I am the guitar.
With a last name like that?
I love that. Anyway, to everybody, thank you so much for watching. I just find these interviews so interesting. And Dirk, thank you so much for doing this with me. And so everybody, take care and be safe and be kind and peace out.
I feel lucky to be here. Thank you.
A sense of community, Chilliwack's a place to be. A sense of community where you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me. It's multicultural, you're sure to see it all. Chilliwack's a place to be, you'll see. Come party in the park, go dancing after dark. Chilliwack's a place to be, you'll see.